All right, friends, this is Greg from Next Chapter Leather and Bookbinding 101, and I thought I would invite you along to follow me on this journey as I convert this Star Wars Archives book by Paul Duncan into this. Preparing the book on a book like this is actually relatively easy. I want to start right at the top of the book, right at the top of the spine, in between where the hardcover enters the spine, and I'm just going to put a cut right in through there. I go down about an inch or an inch and a half, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to follow the edge of that hardcover book, and again I'm just going to go down about an inch or an inch and a half, and I'm going to do that on both sides. Once that first step is completed, the next thing I want to do is just take off the very top of this spine. The reason I want to take that off is because I'm actually going to create a new spine, and if that one is still there, it kind of competes with my existing spine. So I'm just going to score this a couple times. That'll make it easy for me to fold and bend and just bring that right off. Sure enough. Hope I showed that well. Again, just want to score a line here. I'm just going down about half of an inch or 3/4 of an inch. I just want to take the top of that spine off. I'm going to keep this publisher already has a book band at the top of the pages, so I'm going to keep that there. But I just took off that and that. Now, believe it or not, my book is now ready to receive a new leather cover. Okay, my next step is actually one of my favorite steps, and that is to actually pick out and find the leather to cover this book. I've got here some vegetable tan leather from Wicket and Craig. This is a gorgeous leather that will develop a wonderful patina over time. And it looks like I've got a nice little section right here where I can choose that leather for my book. I'm going to get my trusty square out here. I've already measured out the size of the piece of leather that I'll need. This particular piece of leather is going to need to be 10 inches by 15. So I'm just going to take my leather awl and mark that out on this piece of leather. I've allowed myself some margins, so this doesn't have to be perfect 10 by 15. However, we want to do as best as we can. What I mean by some margin is this piece of leather is going to be bigger than what is needed for the book. So let's just go ahead and carve out this leather. This is a wonderful leather from the Wicket and Craig Tannery in Pennsylvania. They've been so good to me and kind to me, and I found that this leather makes for gorgeous books. Now, which leather to use in bookbinding is everyone has their kind of go-to leather. The reason I choose a steer hide as opposed to goat or any other type of leather is just because I love the way it feels in the hand. It feels like an antique book, and this kind of light brown leather over time is going to develop into this rich, dark leather variation of color, and just with time and use, this is going to be just more and more amazing. Okay, well, you can already start to see how this is going to work out. Here we go, something like this. Oh man, that is going to be just a gorgeous book. Okay. I went ahead and set my leather aside, and let's prepare the spine next. Well, because we're going to use the existing binding on this book, I do want to create a new decorative spine. So what I'm going to do Let's measure the width of our current spine. This will help me get the exact dimensions for our new spine. And let's go ahead and take those exact measurements, and we're going to use this kind of a chipboard to create a new spine. You can cut that out, the exact dimensions. Now this is just a piece that I use for almost all of my books, at least all of my books of this size, so it's not going to be cut perfect to the height. I've got the width now because I went ahead and measured that, and that's going to make just a great new spine. However, I need to cut it to the right length. So I'm just going to make a mark here. Let's mark that off and get just the right length. Okay, I've got our new spine now. One of the things that is really kind of a trademark or a hallmark of my books are the raised ribs or raised hubs on the spine. I'm just going to go ahead and mark off where I'd like these raised hubs to be. This is unique to each bookbinder. I think I'm going to put mine right in through there. I'm going to have a hub here and a hub there. Okay. All right. Preparing the spine. Okay. I hope you can see what I've done here. Just made a few lines where I'd like those raised hubs to be on my spine. This looks like the spine's a little bit more than 1.25 inches. So a little trick of the trade that I use, again, I'm not sure if everyone does it this way. In fact, I know everyone doesn't do it this way, but this is the way I like to do it. I take a piece of suede lace. I find that that's just the right width and height for what I'm looking for, and I'm going to cut out 4 of those. I'll go ahead and glue those on my spine. In a previous video, someone asked me, what glue I use, and I've tried lots of glues. However, I love the really strong hold of a contact cement, and so that's what I do. The key with the contact cement is you apply, what I'm doing now is I apply the contact cement to my new spine, so it's already there. However, I want to coat and cover my lace with that as well. So I just kind of put my lace on there and kind of spread that around. This is going to get the contact cement both on the spine, which is already done, but now I'm also putting it on my little piece of leather lace. Now you're ready to connect these when both of these are kind of tacky. Maybe not wet, but just a little bit tacky, both the lace and the new spine. We're not quite there yet, so we'll come back in just a minute or two when that glue has dried just a little bit, and that's more tacky than wet. Okay, it's been just a few minutes, and now I've got a really tacky spine, and same is true with my lace. So using the lines that I've already marked out, I'm going to put that lace just across there and try to get it as straight as we can. Now we can start to see this spine take shape. Try to make that as straight and even as possible. I've got my little razor blade here. I'm going to flip that over. I've got, 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch of lace left over. I usually measure and cut those a little bit long so I have a little extra space. Okay, holy cow, my spine has come together. I can almost envision what that's going to look like on our new leather book. Okay, our next step is to prepare our leather cover and attach the spine. I want to find the center of this piece of leather. This leather is 15 inches across, so I'm just going to make a mark up here at 7.5 inches. That's going to let me know and show me the center of the book. Once I've got my center of the book, I can go ahead and mark down the location where I want the spine to go. The spine will go just right in the center of the book, so I try to, well, kind of eyeball this, get that in the center. Here's my contact cement. I'm just going to go ahead and now that I know where my spine is going to go, let's just go ahead and paint that with some glue. Really appreciate you coming on this journey with me. One of the motivations I have for doing a YouTube page is just to pass along some of the things that I've learned. Each bookbinder does their trade a little bit different. I've picked up a few techniques from watching others and developed a few of my own, and if any of these videos can help someone else put together and create their own leather books, then I'll feel pretty good about that. Okay, my leather has been prepped with both glue on the leather side and glue on my chipboard side. We're going to give that just a few minutes to dry and become tacky, and it will be ready to place. All right, my leather and spine are tacky and ready to glue down. So because I drew an outline, I know exactly where I want that spine to go, and I just gently lay it down there. Okay, this is where we really start to see the book take shape. And consequently is another one of my favorite steps. Boy, can you see those ribs on the spine start to take shape? Those ribs start to give the book this really antique, authentic appearance. Like I say, it's become one of my trademarks, although it's not unique to me. Maybe I shouldn't call it a trademark, but maybe something that is something that I do on every book is create those raised hubs or ribs. So easy to do. The leather lace fits under there very nicely, and it's just going to feel really cool in your hand. Remember, we're giving this book away to one of our subscribers. I checked this morning, I have 43 subscribers. Isn't that awesome? If I get many more subscribers than that, I'm afraid that all of that success might just go to my head. But I'm thrilled to start this journey together. Okay, now I've got my leather, and look at that, my spines look really good. I love how those came out. I just realized I didn't really talk through what I was doing, but I just took my bone folder and again just kind of welded that leather to our new spine. All right, the next step, I'm going to bring my book back in, and I'm going to want to just draw an outline of where I want to glue and eventually attach my book. These outlines help me know where the leather will go as it starts to, as I am about to attach it to the book. Okay. Let's apply that glue. I've got the glue on the leather now, and I'll set that aside. That'll take a few minutes just to dry up and become tacky, and while that's drying up and becoming tacky, I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on the cover of the actual book. This is about the stage where somebody might think to themselves, oh, wait a minute, Greg, you didn't create a new cover, you're just using the existing cover, and you're covering it with leather. Yeah, isn't that awesome? The professional binding there is adequate. I think those pages are going to be stay together forever, so no need for me to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to use that binding. We're going to convert this from a pretty generic book, although I love this book, pretty generic book, to a leather book with minimal, extra steps or hassle. Okay, I've got my glue on the book. We're going to give that just a few minutes to dry up, and then we'll attach our leather. Okay, our glue is tacky on both the book and our new leather cover. Okay, just going to go ahead and set this book right down on our new spine, making sure that it's centered both top to bottom and side to side. I like where we're at there. I like to press the spine down. My first step is to really get a great adherence of the glue to the spine. I really like where we're at there, and then let's just go ahead and work from the spine out. Here we are. Let's just get a nice good stretch on this leather all the way to the edges. I know you probably couldn't see this from the video, but that leather has just like a magnet stuck to that book. That's where I really love this contact cement. When it's tacky on both book and leather, boy, you touch it together and then just a little bit of firm pressure and that thing is stuck there. And it's gonna create just a lifelong adherence from leather to book. I take my bone folder and just take the edge of it and just cement that leather down to the new book. Man, this is such a fun stage right here, where now we've taken a book that you could have got off Amazon, generic, a million copies sold. Every Star Wars fan has that book on their bookshelf, and we've transformed it. Now, of course, we're not done yet, but you can start to feel that book just take shape in your hand. Now check this out. I know we're not done, but man, that book is just transformed. Okay, stick around for our next step. Our book has started to take shape. However, if you look closely, you can see this kind of leather kind of hanging off the edge. Well, we need to glue that down. Because the original book cover has this 90-degree corner, we want to cut out just a square here. I hope you can see that drawn there. Now we don't want to cut the leather out all the way, or we don't want to cut it too close to the actual book cover, because that's going to fold over. So we want to leave just a little gap here, so that when it folds over, we don't see the spine underneath. So if you can see that closely, I've left about the width of the actual cover length away as I've cut out that corner. I'm going to cut out the same corner, about a 90-degree cut here. Can you see that cut, leaving just a little bit of lip of a hangover there. Okay, we'll do the last two and be right back. Okay, we've got notches cut out at 90 or a little bit more than 90 degrees at each corner, and we're ready to glue those down. Applying my glue to both the leather and the book. Only gluing the same diameter of my leather. I only glue that width on the book, as I'm anticipating both sides of both the leather side and the book. That will dry up and become really tacky, and then I'm going to fold that over and give us a really great edge. Let's let that tack up and dry out just a little bit. We'll be right back. My leather, or my glue, is tacky, both on the leather side and on the book side. All right, do you remember when I was preparing the book, I took about a 1/2 inch of the top of the spine off? And I did that for this reason. See, this is my new spine. And so it's attached to the old spine. However, if the old spine, if I didn't remove the top there, then I would have kind of 2 spines at the top. I hope that makes sense. Well, because I created a new spine, I'm just going to go ahead and fold that leather down over my new spine. And then I made that cut in the very first, remember, if you need to go back to the very beginning of the video, I made that cut for the sole purpose that now I can fit that leather down into that groove where I made a cut. Okay, now do you see that leather just kind of come down? Now I can just fold this over. I'm trying to kind of lift with my back finger and press down with my thumb or my top finger. This is going to get me a good, nice edge right there. Wait, can you see that? Hope you can. I'm going to do the same thing. I've already got kind of my spine down, so I can just kind of roll that over and down. Okay, got a little bit of a crease right there. That's no problem. We'll just lift that back up. And all right, and let's just kind of roll that forward, lifting kind of with my bottom hand there, kind of lifting that leather up and rolling it forward. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and just cement that down. Oh man, that is a good looking edge right there. Okay, you can start to see that there. Now I've created a new spine right there. You can see my headband. I hope you can see that well. Haven't really perfected the lighting yet, but that edge looks great. I tell you what, I'm going to do the same thing on the top edge. I'll do that off camera. But if you'd like to see that done again, you can maybe rewind the video and watch that one more time. All right, we're back and we'll do this one more time. Got my leather edge and the book edge painted with glue, nice and tacky. And let's fold it over. Again, probably could have used another 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch here. Make that just a little bit bigger. However, I'm actually not too worried about that. I think it's going to, my end paper is going to cover up that edge. So I like just a little bit more leather there than what I've done. Now that's to see how, by the time we're all said and done, it won't make a difference. But just a little bit more safety if I would have had about 1/4 inch more leather there. However, once the book is all said and done, it won't make one difference at all. Love this part. Now we're starting to really see that book. The book has taken shape. We're not done yet, but my goodness, can you just see? I wish you could smell the leather. I wish you could feel the way that this book feels in your hand, just heavy in the hand. Feels like an old antique book. Now we've really transformed a relatively generic Amazon purchased book into what feels like an heirloom, antique quality, vintage leather book. One of the best things about this is I frequently tell my customers, this is the worst the book's ever going to look. When the book's brand new, it looks amazing. However, the more you use it, the more you handle it, the more the oils from your hands condition that leather. This relatively light leather is going to inherit a deep, rich, beautiful patina. Those ribs are going to become more vibrant as you use that. You're going to see a different colorization of those ribs that are going to become a little bit darker than the actual face of the book. Anyway, this is going to be really cool. Okay, one last step. Let's attach some new end pages. One last step, and this book is done. One of the things I love about creating books is giving the book a kind of unique end page. I love opening the book and seeing a really vibrant end page. You can see this publisher has done the same thing. A lot of times I'll put different patterns or styles in paper. However, I thought because this I love this like little page sheet protector that came with the book. It's kind of black. Well, it is black, kind of moody, and I thought it would pair really well with a black end page. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I do my end pages. This piece of paper is 12 by 12. I'm just going to fold it in half. Once folded in half, let's measure the existing kind of size of the paper. So the existing paper, this kind of gives us a little bit of a false. The paper itself is actually, luckily, the exact same width of my 12 by 12 fitted in half. That doesn't always happen. So what I normally do is set that paper in there and then mark how wide it is. Well, because boy, we just couldn't have gotten a better fit. That's perfect. Now it is too long. You can see that here. It is too long. So I'm just going to mark on my new end paper exactly how long that is. Let's do the same thing with the other one. I'm going to put my piece of paper in there. This is that kind of page protector that this book has. But if you feel the exact width of the page, it is the exact width of my end sheet. Well, my current paper's too long, so let's mark where that is. Okay, that will tell me the length of the paper. Knocked over my water bottle there. That's okay though. Okay, now I've marked how long that paper needs to be. I take my paper cutter and cut that off, and sure enough, now I've got an end paper that's exact height and width of the papers in the text block. Remember, we got a little bit lucky with the width, so we won't have to cut that. It's already cut to width, but now it's also cut to height. Let's get this out. This little page protector, kind of unique to this book. Kind of is a thing to work around, but kind of a cool feature of the book. Okay, check that out. Now we've got our end paper that's really the same height and width as our text block. That's right. Okay, let's finish this book by attaching its end paper. Okay, I'll take my glue and apply it just to this folded edge, the outside of the folded edge. Okay, so there's my end papers. I just took that piece of paper, folded it in half, and cut it to shape. I've attached some glue. A little bit of this glue goes a long way, so I just spread it out. And I don't know, I just kind of eyeball this, but I apply about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch, maybe a little bit less than that, a little bit less than 1/2 of an inch of glue along that edge. Can you see that? And then I'm going to open my book and I'm going to attach that edge to the existing paper. I'm just going to kind of use my finger to kind of weld that down. It might not be exactly obvious what this is going to look like. If this is the first time you've seen this done, you might be thinking to yourself, like, what is this that he's doing? Well, I want to attach my end paper to the existing text block, and that's what this step does. Now in the next step, I'm going to attach the paper, this side already attached to the existing text block there. The next step is that I will put glue, once that's kind of put in place, then I'll put glue on this edge and it will attach, if I can separate these two pieces. So it will attach to this edge, and this that I just put the glue will attach. I better get that in the right spot there. And this will attach to the actual text block. Well, maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but you can start to hopefully see how that will come together. Okay, now this glue does take a little bit of time to set. Unlike the contact cement, this glue is probably going to need a couple hours to form a really strong adhesion do that text block. So I'm going to set this aside and come back in a few hours and let's finish up this book. All right, we're nearly done with this book. All we need to do now is attach that end paper to the cover, and we're getting really close. So I'm going to just put a piece of scratch paper or construction paper there under that first page and run a bead of glue just like that. Then I'm going to take the straight edge of my tool and distribute that glue across the page, wanting to cover the entire page and get it also into the crevice there. Okay, I'm going to take that out and then just close my book. Okay, when I open the book again, that end page has been glued down, and I just use my finger to smooth out and press down. At least I start with my finger, and then I'll go to my bone folder and just press that end page down. Now remember, the other side of that has been attached, so that's what's going to connect my kind of my text block here to the cover there. Okay, we're going to do that on both sides. Now that glue on that cover may leach some moisture out of the cover and onto the text block, so I want to avoid that. So I'm just going to put a piece of this kind of wax or parchment paper there, and then when I put this book under weight and wait for that to glue, that parchment paper will absorb any water. Okay, we're going to do that to the other side, and then we'll be one step closer. Well, we're finished with that book. I went ahead and added just a little bit of cover art and a title, and I'm just thrilled with the way that this turned out. If you could smell the vegetable tanned leather, if you could feel kind of the heavy nature of this book. Now remember, we are giving this book away. When we reach 300 subscribers, I'm going to give this book away to someone who comments on this video. If you leave a comment, you're automatically entered into our drawing. All right, I think this book is going to go to a really cool home, and I think whoever gets it is really going to like it. All right, please like and subscribe the video. Please leave a comment, and I'll give this book away as soon as we reach 300 subscribers.